Welcome to this week's episode of So It's Not Just Me, where we sit and talk about things that have affected our lives, how we run our day to day, and things people want to know about more than anything. Today, I am so excited, and I've been excited for more than a few weeks now, to host, I'm hoping, my new friend, Ken, who, as you can see, Ken is absolutely stunning, gorgeous drag queen, and we're going to talk about being a drag queen, what got into being a drag queen, and all the nitty gritty that comes with it. So, with that, Ken, would you like to introduce yourself for me, please?
Yeah. So I am Ken Lambert. I am the bearded queen from Doncaster in South Yorkshire, UK.
Nice. So, anyone who doesn't know, everyone knows I'm from Doncaster too, and it's one of those things. Once you're from Doncaster, you're forever for Doncaster, and it's the greatest place in the world, no matter what anyone says. No
I
one
mean,
can
I
tell
used
you
to say
otherwise.
Dirty Donny, actually. Dirty
Oh,
Donny.
dear.
I love it. I love the fact that people do know Doncaster as Dirty Donny, but
Do
I
you
think
know
that's
what?
fab. I like
Yeah,
that.
and the amount of people when you say, "Oh, I'm from Doncaster," they're like, "Oh, it's a great night out there."
Yes.
And
Well, it's day
and
drinking as well, isn't it? So everyone starts at 12 o'clock and it's all the way in through until the early hours.
yeah, we're just a different breed of people. It's
Yeah.
great. It's great. So we're going to talk today about Ken's journey being a drag queen, the ups and the downs. Um, so with that, let's jump in right at the start. Can you take us back to when you first thought, "I want to be a drag queen"?
Do you know what? I never thought I wanted to be a drag queen ever.
Oh,
Literally
really?
ever. So I came to this very late in life, I would say. I've never been a drag queen. I've always been gay, always identified as just a gay man, quite boring. I own businesses. I used to run hotels. Like I did really run of the mill, generic things, just as a boring gay man. And then we had a gay bar. We opened a gay bar, me and my husband, and employing drag queens literally turned my head. Um, and I am known as a live singing drag queen. That is my that's my gig, that's my thing. And I don't know whether to take this ring off because can you hear it rattling?
A little bit, but it's not. It's not terrible.
Is it not affected anyone? So
No.
yeah, so I always just wanted to be a singer, but I never sang in front of anyone. I literally you wouldn't get me on a stage. But with the confidence of being around drag queens and just the amazing, whether it was their makeup, their performance skills, their just overall personality. And luckily, these ones I knew in and out of drag as well. So just seeing what kind of people these were, I thought, oh my God, I would love to do this one day, but I have not got the balls to do it. I literally have not. But over a couple of, I'd say maybe over a year of being with them, it just opened my eyes to a new queer me. And I
Right.
know sometimes people think of that word in a derogatory state, but I use it quite a lot because I don't necessarily feel a gay man now. I feel queer, which is just me, my version of my sexuality, probably my gender, but I do class myself as just a man. Like I say,
Right.
quite boring from that point of view. But when I'm Ken as such, and I keep my beard, and a lot of people think, well, why Ken? I had a lot of drag names in my head. And one day when I announced someone onto stage, not into drag, I announced them as Ken Lambert. I haven't got a clue why. They weren't called Ken Lambert. It had nothing to do with their personality or their drag style or anything. It just came out, and I was like, "Where did that come from?" And then the drag queen said, "Look, if you ever do drag, you have to be called Ken Lambert," and it's just
Yeah.
stuck. And they were calling me Ken out of drag, um, so it doesn't actually mean anything. It was a fuck up, and it just stuck. So it means nothing. It's not a double entendre. It's not it's not a play on words. It's just my name and it just sticks. So yeah, so that's a little bit of me as Ken. Um, but it is a very late journey for me, being 36. Um, I shouldn't. I should really be retiring now in drag. I would have thought. People start at 16 these days, and by sort of my age, they're thinking, "Oh God, do I need like a normal job now?" But day to day, I just love it, and it is this is my life now. And luckily, my
Yeah,
husband massively supports me in it and takes me everywhere. He's my driver, my sound man, and just gives me his all. Really, even though we do run a pub, which I know we're probably going to talk about later, it's if we had salaries as such, mine is purely drag and his is purely pub. So yeah, it just works. It's a great relationship, and it's just fab that we found a little niche of my style of drag as well.
yeah.
That we can just tour around and be, which is great, fully booked all of 2025. So
Oh, that's awesome.
I've got no dates left, which is amazing,
Oh,
and that's something I'm very proud of, and something I don't take for granted as well. Because I think it's amazing that I'm booked and blessed, and I
yes.
think that's just fab.
Yeah, definitely. Um, that first time that you got on stage as Ken, how was that? How long ago was that, if you don't mind me asking?
It's coming up 3 years in the next couple of
Right,
months. I'd say my drag when I first started was very androgynous. So I wouldn't say I was a drag queen at all. I'd say I was massively flamboyant. So whether it was just like an extreme version of just me as my boy name as Sam. It was probably that version. And I just wanted to do it just so I had a slightly different persona as Ken to be able to sing because I'd never sang in front of anyone before.
right.
Um, Even though in my head I thought, oh God, I can probably sing. I think I'm all right at it. I'd never done it in front of anyone before. So I just needed that little bit of a shift from boy me to drag me to make me get on that stage. And I
Right.
did it, and people were like, "Oh my God, you can actually sing! Like, where did this come from? Like, what? Where have you been hiding it for the last like 30 odd years?" So I just thought, do you know what? If people will pay me for this, let's take it to the next extreme. And literally every performance from then on just became even more drag, even more drag, even more drag, and then just ended up just being well this
Not a
a
bad thing to
fully
be.
slapped up drag queen.
I will say it's the first time that I've been ready to record and thought, is my makeup okay? Do I need
Baby,
to
you look
do anything?
gorgeous. You look
Do I need to
gorgeous.
touch anything up? Because usually it doesn't matter. No, you know, we're all
Well,
looking
I
the
get
same.
people asking me to do their makeup all the time, and I'm like, yes, but I paint a man. Trying
It's
to
a bit
make you
different.
look beautiful is not the same thing. I have to get that cheekbone in. I like you're not going to look well with a cut, well, a cut crease, a full like it just wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. You're
No.
beautiful as you. Putting drag makeup on top, unless you wanted to be a drag queen, love. Like it's
Wow.
not.
Well,
I mean, it's
you never
fabulous.
know.
It's fabulous. We can do. Yeah, I can come to you in Florida. You can come to me in
By
Dirty
all
Donny.
means. By all means. Um, do you have any like really major like influences that anyone that you've looked at in the past, or with it being just the last 3 years, is it just the drag
Yeah,
queens that you were
I would
hiring, or
say I d- yeah, I think I'm influenced by a lot of people in my head.
right,
And I take tiny little bits of people because I would say I'm very genuinely me at all points. But my drag influencers are like everyone would expect people from Drag Race who have
right,
made it big in drag. But also local queens and things. I look at cabaret queens and lip syncing queens, dancing queens, all those people, and think, wow, I don't dance. I'm crap at dancing. So I just use my voice. I can jump on a table. We can bop with the rest of them. But when I see people dance and they're splitting and dipping and death dropping, and just it's just pure entertainment, and I just get
yeah,
massively jealous, and I think, oh my God, why can't I do that? But it's such a powerful thing, a performance. And like I say, I just get on stage and sing, even though there's not many drag queens that can sing. So
that's
I'm
the
in a
thing.
little bit of a niche there. But I look at an amazing lip syncer and think, wow, I wouldn't even be able to lip sync to my own songs.
Yeah,
And your
I
mouth
remember
is
going.
exactly
Go ahead.
Sorry, no, it's okay. I was listening to what you were going to say.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I remember going to I can't, is it Lanzarote or Tenerife with Music Hall Tavern, and watching the Queens there, and I'm like, I'm sat in awe because
Yeah,
they have the confidence that just oozes off them
yeah,
is like, it's like infectious.
yeah,
And
hugely.
anyone who can get up and do that is just bravo, is all I can say, because
And
it's
I
just
think exactly the same
incredible.
when I'm watching other drag queens, even as a drag queen in drag, or I can be sat there watching just as me, as boy me, and I'll go,
Yes,
what am I watching here? This is just phenomenal. And it's an art form, it's a massive art form. Whether it is just makeup or just the physical performance or just the quick wit, like
yes,
it's true art. It's true art, and I think people just need to get away from the sexuality and gender part of it and just see it as pure performance. You're going to have a good
yes,
time. That's it.
yes. And I think people forget sometimes as well, drag queens don't always have to be males dressing up as females.
Yeah.
It can be vice versa, or it can be female to female.
Yeah.
There's one that I follow on TikTok. I think she's called Carissa. I
Mm.
don't know if you've seen her. She wears this beautifully stunning blue dress, and she has bright red hair, and she is the quick-wittiest, funniest person I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And if you see her in real life to her stage performance, it's two different people.
Yeah.
It's so different. And it is just talking to a
Drag is
person.
drag. That's it.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter. It doesn't
yeah,
matter about your gender. It doesn't matter about anything. You can be male presenting, female presenting, totally non-binary. You can be whatever you want to be. Drag is drag. It's dress up.
yes,
That's literally all it is. And once you find an aesthetic, you stick with it, and that's just your way of doing your drag. Some people like
yes.
it, some people don't. But we have to get to
And
the
it's like,
point where that do not, I don't give a shit buttons pressed.
yes, yes. It's so strange to me as well that people like Lily Savage
Yes.
were absolutely idolized for years and years and
Yes.
forever and a day. And she's probably one of the first drag queens I was probably aware of.
Yeah.
So that's showing my age now as to where I am on that age scale. Um, she's probably the first one that I really
Yeah.
fell in love with, and
Mm.
she was wonderful. But nowadays, it's there's this weird kind of negative thing, but everyone still idolizes Lily Savage,
Yeah.
and it's like, what's the difference? There is no difference. So why are we kind of why do we feel this way? Not
Yeah.
us as people, but why
Mm.
are some people idolizing one but then not another? Is it just how they present themselves, or
I
it's
think it
something
is.
that
I think
baffles me?
people have a perception of drag in their head, and if it doesn't meet the perception, they don't like it. And
Hmm.
the more weirder drag for me, I love it. I might be sat in here in all these jewels and things, but I know so many creative, arty queens that I look at and think, oh my God, I couldn't even think. I can't sew. I can't do anything like that. I purchase mine. I purchase mine. But people are making outfits. So I do, I'm judging not this coming week, next week, a drag competition called Mama's Drag Battle. And I
Okay.
went with my drag daughter last week. She was competing. So I was just normal me, sat in the crowd, well, stood in the crowd because it's massive, and not watching her on stage. But there were so many people in that lineup that were just really, really out there, arty performance queens that had made their own outfits. They had spent ages on whether it was they'd made their own eyelashes. Their makeup was
Wow.
so unbelievably different than a sort of a generic drag face that you just couldn't look at them and think, oh my God, like you just exactly what drag needs to be. Fresh,
Yes.
inviting, thinking, what, how? Well, they've done that and they've done it themselves. And it's just a
Yes.
creative outlet for most people. But yeah, I talked to a guy the other day at one of my gigs and he hit the nail on the head. He said to me, he said, I bet you get so many people just looking at you and going, oh my God, what the F when you walk into a venue. I said, I do, and I get it all the time. But I said, it only takes a couple of pints and people then start to see me and then open my mouth. And he went, and doesn't that make a difference? When people see a talent, they don't see the drag.
Right.
And I said,
Right.
right, actually, you're probably on something then. So as soon as people see what you can do and your talent shines through, the gender, the stereotypes, your sexuality, the fact that you're a man dressed in women's clothes, or however you want to represent yourself, drops because they go,
Yeah.
shit, he can sing. Oh my God, she can dance. Oh my God, they can perform, they can lip sync. And they just see you as a performer, but they
Yes.
don't at
Yeah.
first. It just takes that little bit of talent to show through, and everything else drops. And
I
I'd
think
never
it's
had
quite
anyone
sad as
explain it like
well.
that before. Mm,
No, I've not heard that either. And I do think it's quite sad that they have to wait for that before, like
massively.
it's so much of a judging the book by its
Yeah.
cover.
Oh, but I
And
like proving them
the
wrong, though.
yes. And they've probably had that many people say, "Oh, you're going to see a drag show. What are you
Yeah.
doing that for?" And it's like, no, it's such a
Mm,
great thing. It's just
yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah.
It's such a good night out. Like I
I do. I just
can't
like I just
recommend
like
it
proving
enough.
people wrong and thinking, just do you know what? You might be judging me now, but let's just wait and see. And then if you enjoyed yourself, then you can judge me. But you don't know anything
Yes.
yet. Let me get on that stage
Yes.
first. Let me dance on those tables.
Oh, I can't even get on a table. I'll just be a heap on the floor. I'm like Bambi on ice. Whatever I do, I'm like I would. My
So you
heels
couldn't
are
do it
like
in
half an
6-inch
inch.
stilettos like I do.
Oh, half an inch heel, and I'm getting a nosebleed.
Love it.
What do you think was the most difficult part of getting into the drag scene? Or did it help that you already had the bar so you could just kind of perform when you needed to rather
I
than
think
have
it
to
was
try
a
and get
massive
booked?
help for me. Huge help. So I didn't necessarily needed to wait for an opportunity at a drag gig to go and perform or practice my craft or do anything like that, because I could literally, on days we weren't open, I could nip in. I had a full sound system, plenty of reverb on that microphone, and just practice and practice and practice. Um, so yeah, that was a huge benefit to me. Whereas if you were starting drag for the first time, you're doing it in your bedroom, you haven't got necessarily all of your sound equipment, you haven't got your lights, your
Right.
camera action, so you can go, right, well, oh, actually, in that kind of light, I don't look very good. Or no, I can't stand like that. Or even just to the point of people taking pictures of you. And you know, oh God, I can't even look like that anymore. I need to make sure I look down that camera and keep that chin right. Or so yeah, so
Yeah.
there's so many things that I did even before I started getting paid gigs, yeah, to hone the craft rather than going, I need to just fuck up on stage and try and learn from doing it wrong first. I could just do it in front of friends, family, colleagues, and make sure that I could get to a state where I could go, right, I can actually start charging for this. Um,
Yes.
so that was a huge benefit for me, and I know not everyone has that. So I've been quite lucky in that respect. Um, so yeah, I needed that. Definitely needed that.
Yeah, no, that sounds yeah. And that's one of those things as well. Not everyone is lucky enough to have that, but
Yeah.
when you find that place where you can, it's just great.
Yeah.
I know you said that your husband's been a huge support,
Mm.
but what about like friends and family outside of your husband? How did they react? Did they kind of see it coming, or
Never saw
was
it
how was
coming.
that?
Never
Oh,
ever saw it coming. Yeah, I think my family. I've got quite a large family, both mum and dad's side. Sadly, mum's not with us anymore, um, and she would have never seen me sing, which she never did,
oh,
and she never ever saw me in drag. And I've got her date of birth on my tattooed on my hand, so it's my microphone hand. So she'll always sort of like be with me, even whether I'm in Gran Canaria performing at 40,000 people or 40 people in a pub. So I always keep that really close to my heart, and yeah, I know she can see what I'm doing, but it's a huge regret that I didn't start it sooner, to be able to see that I have a talent, not just from like a generic day to day work talent, an actual talent, a performer talent, which is very different. And it makes me quite sad that she didn't get to see that, but I know she's with
yeah,
me at every single performance. But the family's been fab with it, absolutely fine. And luckily, I've got a very supportive family as well, and I'm very lucky that in my gay life, day to day, and my drag life, I haven't had that much backlash at all. It's been a very easy, yeah, I'm gonna it's quite a strong word that in our community, that you've had an easy time of it. And I've never had that. I was bullied at school for just being a bit feminine,
right.
but not to the case of where I see my brothers, sisters, and non-binary friends that get horrible hatred comments, whether it's on social media or to the face. My drag daughter was spat at a gig last week. That's just, and that's for being themselves. That's for being in drag and called disgusting. Now, I've never had to go through that. And I said to him, look, I haven't have ever had to go through that. Touch wood, and I wouldn't ever think, I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. But if that ever happens to you again, you pick up that microphone in your speakers and you walk out of that venue. You're done.
Yeah.
We're not there to be, we're there to
No.
entertain. We can understand that people won't accept us initially, and we have to work on our stagecraft and try and get people on our side. But that kind of homophobic abuse is not, it's not there. We're not having it.
No.
So I said, don't accept it ever. You go up, you either get the security to sort it out. If that doesn't happen, because it didn't happen, no security sorted that out. So I said, you pick your stuff up and you go, and you still
Yeah.
get that same money because it's their fault for not sorting the situation out. You pick that money up and you go, no, it's your fault. Done, dusted. We're not here. So if someone else, a tribute act, wouldn't get that kind of. So there you go. We're not having it.
No.
Zero
No.
tolerance, my love. Zero tolerance on that kind of thing, aren't we?
No, I completely
Mm.
agree. It's you wouldn't do that to like you say a tribute act or
Yep.
what's the biggest drag act around? Elvis impersonators. Come on.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, that's more
So
drag than sometimes what you see other drag queens in.
exactly, yeah. So you're not going to do that to that.
Yeah,
There's just no need. It
yeah. Utter
boils
shameful,
me.
absolute shit.
Boils
I know
me.
it was me. Well, he didn't tell me on the night either. It was the next morning. I said, "Was your gig good?" And they were like, "Everything that went wrong could have gone wrong. X, Y, Z with the sound, but." And then told me that I was like, "Do you know, don't condone violence, but there's other
No.
ways that you can get back at people."
Agreed, agreed. Do you know what? I had a very similar reaction when I said I'm starting a podcast with my friends and family. It's not something they probably ever thought I would do
Mm,
either. And I know it's complete different scale to your act to what I do now. Um, but I feel like the confidence, me just saying to them, I'm going to host a podcast and then doing it. Same with, hey, mum and dad, I'm staying in America. I'm not coming home. That the
yeah.
support, you're expecting not to get the amount of support that you always
Mm,
get. And it's so
yeah.
surprising. And I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of people don't always follow their dreams or their ambitions
Mm,
because they are so scared or worried about what other people are thinking.
yeah.
And
And it doesn't matter at the end of the day as long as you're happy. That's the main thing.
yeah, and I think it's such an amazing thing that people can even watch this episode and see. And I think it's something that's actually come to light on a lot of my previous episodes as well, that we may have been scared, but when I asked the question, how was your friends and family reacting? What was their reactions and things? Everything I got back has always been positive.
Mm,
And I think it's that in the back of your mind, you're always thinking, oh, I daren't do it in case they're disappointed or they make fun of me or they like ugh, at me kind
yeah.
of thing. And the amount of people that it's the complete opposite reaction. So
Yeah.
that's one of the things I always tell people when they say, oh, I want to try this, but I don't know how, or I'm a bit scared. Do it. Just do it. What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
You're gonna be here 70, 80, 90 years, maybe even more.
Fingers
What
crossed.
what's it matter if 1 year,
Yeah.
it's a little bit
Yeah.
icky.
Yeah.
It
No,
doesn't
I
matter.
totally agree. I just think, look, we're all just people at the end of the day. Literally,
Yes.
life is just drag. So whatever you're wearing is what you're wearing. If you want to do a podcast, you do a podcast. If you don't want to, do you know what I mean? I don't know. Yeah. Everyone just needs to support each other. And that's what
Yeah,
it's
that's the
about.
biggest thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know much about what's going on over here with drag and things. Um, a lot of parts of the country don't accept it,
Yeah.
which is
You
awful.
can't even walk around in the street. You can't even get. You have to literally like go
No.
to the back door of your gig and go in like at the back
Yeah.
to do it. It's gone underground again. Like
Yeah.
it's unbelievable. Literally, I bet you could put a number on the revenue that RuPaul himself in America has generated for your. I don't know what the difference is for the GDP to what the American version of it is, but I'm sure there is a very huge percentage that is
Yeah.
LGBTQIA plus
Yeah.
in the US that is generated by drag, queer art
Yeah.
forms, whatever you
100%.
want to call it. So yeah, it's unbelievable, and it
Absolutely
pains me
crazy.
that I can walk around literally even in Doncaster. No one, I've never, I'm, I, well, when I had the library at my gay bar, I could walk out of there, go to Greg's over the road, go to Costa down the road, just in a break or whatever, and be in drag. No one actually cared. You'd get more,
No.
yeah, you'd get some looks, but no one's actually throwing insults at you. But in the States, you could literally get arrested for it in some states.
Yep. Yep.
Unbelievable.
You just wouldn't do it.
Unbelievable. For being
Just
in
wouldn't.
dress up.
Yeah, and it's awful. It's absolutely awful.
Yeah.
I no.
Unbelievable
Uh,
the world we live in. We make so many
I
steps forward and so many steps back, but with people like ourselves who support people and are just good people, that's all it
yeah.
is. And that means the world to me. I have so many people that come to me at the end of the gig and go, God loved your voice. Oh my God, you look amazing. But the biggest thing that they say is, God, you're such a nice person. I thought you was going to be a TWAT. Uh, but because I'm not, and that means more. I don't care. All this means nothing. Have you had a good time? Fabulous. And you're such a nice
Yeah.
guy. Perfect. That's it. That's all I'm
Yeah,
bothered
that's
about.
all that's all
Yeah.
that you need.
Yeah.
What do you think the most rewarding part is?
Oh, if I can speak. It's been a long weekend. A very long weekend. Just seeing people smile. Seeing people smile. I've had
Yeah.
people say the loveliest things to me that have made me tear up in front of them, that they haven't been out in 6 months or a year, and it's the first time they've been out and their friends have dragged them out, and I have had the best night of my life. Last week I wanted to do terrible things to myself. This week I've seen you, and honestly I am just in awe. Just the most heartwarming things that you think, as just a generic person, because I'm nothing special, that you would never get told to you. And I get those amazing comments said to me as just little old Sam from Doncaster. Like, and I can just put a tiny smile on someone's face for a second, 3 seconds, 5 minutes, my show, whatever it is. That's what life's about. It
Yes.
even makes me feel a bit teary now that I've had three or four, even just 3 or 4 comments in the last 4 years, that I can do that with them. That means the world to me more than
No,
any of
that.
this could
Yeah.
ever mean.
I know we touched on very, very slightly about owning the gay bar previously, and I know you said you don't own that now. What do you think? And I think we kind of have touched on it, but I'm going to ask it anyway. What do you think is the most important thing about having these safe spaces for drag queens, the LBD? My words have gone as much as yours have. LGBTQ plus
Yeah.
community. I've been talking a lot. I'm so sorry.
Listen, no,
Um,
I understand. I get it. This is why I'm croaky on a Sunday.
it's coming across great. Don't worry. Um, what do you think is the most important thing about having these safe spaces for the community?
I think it's hugely important, but why should we need them? That is the main thing. Should we
Yeah,
really need a safe space for people to go and practice a craft, be themselves,
yeah,
I mean, we're literally in those safe spaces, not doing anything that would offend anyone, cause harm to anyone. Are you going to go in a gay bar and have a good time? Yes. Is that why a lot of straight women go in there, because they feel safe? Yes. Is that why everybody who doesn't give a shit about sexuality and gender goes in there? Yes. That's why it is, because you're just going to have the best night. No one's going to do anything. Everyone's going to be just on cloud nine, because it is that kind of venue. Should
yeah,
we need them? No. Do we need them at this moment in time? We do. It's got better, but like we said earlier, you take 3 steps forward, 5 steps back, 10 steps forward, 20 steps back. So we're just in this constant, yeah, back and forth of, yeah,
I think
sadly,
it's really sad that we have to live in a place now where you have to advertise that you're a safe space
mm,
for the community.
yeah,
It's not a nice feeling
it
that
isn't a nice
you have
feeling.
to advertise this.
Yeah, it
And
isn't.
I guess I'm somewhat privileged, straight female white woman. I'm not as privileged as a straight white man,
Mm,
but I still have that privilege of being a
yeah,
straight female white woman.
yeah.
Um,
And I
and
think that quite a lot of people, uh, like yourself, well, any ethnicity, to just go in a gay bar and feel completely safe is what a lot of people do.
Yeah. Yeah.
They feel safe in that space, and it's not because they want to be gay, lesbian, whatever they are under our umbrella in our community. They just want to feel safe. They don't want to be
Yeah.
lurched upon from a bloke in a bloody bar down a main strip somewhere. They want to feel that they can just let their hair down and be what they want to be,
Yeah.
and they can do that in those kind of spaces. So,
I think one of the best
like,
nights out I ever had was just Canal Street.
yeah,
It's just everyone was happy, everything was safe,
yeah,
nobody felt like they had to watch anything. The people we were talking to were amazing, and it was
yeah.
just that kind of, I don't know, maybe it's a northern thing.
I think it
Maybe
is. I think
northerners are,
that's yeah. I jump on the fact that I'm northern a lot, and obviously I've got a very northern accent anyway. But if I do anything sort of Midlands down, the accent just people go mad for. They,
yes.
they just think I'm just there going, "Right, I'm just this chav from Donny," but they just love the accent and just love how warm we are, how everyone is love, how everyone is just very
Accepting.
open, accepting, and that kind of thing. I've probably know more people down south that have a lot more issues with what I do than anyone up north.
Yeah, yeah.
And you'd think it'd be the
I
opposite
think,
way around.
yeah,
Everyone's more liberal down south, and but yeah, it's a very strange thing. Um, but yeah, it's sad that there are still those. I mean, I see comments all the time on social media, and I went live last Sunday, had a gig in Hull, and I thought, I'll go live on TikTok and just there. I got fag emojis and everything. It's unbelievable.
wow,
And I
wow,
haven't got that many followers. I'm only got like I think just under 2,000 followers on there. So it's not like I'm there looking at the masses. So even in that small pool of people that I watched that live,
yeah.
people still find it, and I think they just love it, just putting that little emoji there and think it's going to affect them, but it don't affect me.
Makes them feel
I
better,
mean,
I
you are just stating
guess.
the obvious. I don't care what you call me; it's not going to change me. It's like going, "Oh God, you straighty! What a straighty you are!" Like I can't change the way I am. It just is what it is.
Ugh, people are pathetic.
Yeah,
Um,
they are.
how do you think the drag scene has changed? Or do you think it's changed? Do you think it's
Yeah, we're massively mainstream, and we owe that a lot to whether it's RuPaul or the queens that have come from there, or just TV, social media in general. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Now I can perform to whether it's old Ted in a corner of a of a working men's club, which I adore doing, by the way, or the masses of my community at Europe's largest Pride. Do you know what I mean? It's just I got every end of the spectrum now, rather than just a small pocket of people to perform to,
yeah,
and we owe that. However much there's a lot of the drag community that doesn't necessarily like RuPaul and what he or the show stands for, because it doesn't show every breadth of drag. I think it does a lot more now than it ever did.
right.
But look what he's done for our community.
Yeah. I feel like
Absolutely,
it's
like
made it more acceptable to talk about
yeah,
and just get it
massively.
out there more. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like it's not done it single-handedly. Obviously, he's had a lot of good people around him, and obviously, if you get good people on your show, it raises your profile as well as everyone. So it's
Yes.
it's a huge community effort, but he had the idea, he's put it on there,
Yeah. All it needs is an idea sometimes,
and helps us
and you're
massively.
there.
So yeah, so it's just great, and I get to do what I do, hopefully to the best of my ability, because of people like him. But I
Yeah.
always say you can't forget these two. I mean, Maisie Trollet, who just passed away, bless her, Britain's oldest drag queen. I put a post on when she passed away. Her funeral, was it last this week or last week? I can't remember. It's just been a blur. It's just saying I can't do what I do now without these trailblazers not giving
Yeah.
a shit about what people
Yeah.
think, whether it was from Stonewall days to modern days, fighting for rights just in general, not even just in a drag community. Just so I need to make sure that everybody knows, whether it's young queens that I take under my wing or older queens and older like myself. We need to remember these days that we didn't come from
Yeah.
nowhere. There's been a lot of people, like we're talking about Lily Savage. Dame Edna was a massive icon of my look.
Oh,
My
she
God,
was wonderful.
hilarious, funny bones,
Yeah.
funny bones. Yeah, it does. The drag just isn't always mainstream. There's pockets of drag. There's every type of drag under this sun, and everyone
Yeah.
just needs to celebrate themselves and be celebrated and just get on with life.
I was doing a little. I did a little bit of research about like the drag queens and things, and I didn't realize that the first drag queen was in the 1800s.
Oh God, yeah.
Like people just think, oh, it's these last few years, or last
Mm.
20, 30, whatever years, but it's been going on a long, long
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
So
They were
you know,
dragging the dresses around even then. But look at
it's
Shakespeare. The
wonderful.
women were played by men even then, but it probably wasn't
Yeah.
frowned upon then. So
No.
it's yeah, it transcends history. And there's always some little queer pocket of people that are doing it, whether it was in a Molly bar in 18 Naught Blob to gay bars in the century we're in now. So it's always been there. It always has been there. And the more people accept it and not try and fight against it is going to be a better world.
What do you? So this is going to be my last question before we go on to our fun little new thing that we're trying.
Woo.
Um, what do you hope the future of drag and safe spaces look like?
Every other place, just completely generic. And whether you are in what we would now call just a generic straight bar, that a drag queen could walk in there and go for a drink before their gig in a drag bar and not get any kind of, well, everyone, we like to be looked at. So we do need the looks. If we didn't cause a ruckus, what we're doing this for? But
Yeah, what's the
not look
point?
at it as, yeah, exactly. I mean, like, if you're not going to look at me, when people say, "Can I take a picture of you?" Well, I haven't got ready for 3 hours before for you not to take a picture of me. So of course you can take a picture.
This is what I'm
Um,
here for.
Let's do it. Let's do it. But make sure that flash is on. That's my new thing now for everyone. Like, please just make sure that flash is on because my makeup looks so much better. I mean, in my mirrored light here, this is perfect lighting. But when you go in a club, it's not necessarily perfect lighting, so we need a flash. But yeah,
That's what I'm like. I'm
generic,
like,
generic. We need
how many
generic
spotlights can I
everywhere.
get on
That's what we
me?
need.
Yeah, and like make sure that how many ring lights can I get around me to make it look like it's nice and sunny in Florida, not that it's grey and miserable outside and about rain all day.
We always need good lighting, my dear. Always good
Yes,
lighting.
yes. Okay, so I did tell you briefly, we are starting, well, gonna try something new. Social media these last few weeks, I've get your words out, Joanna. Okay, so I've been advertising that Ken's coming on, and I've had a few questions sent in either on the post or to my DMs. I like it saying that. I'm not one of these people who's like, oh, slide in my DMs. I've had some right DMs these last few
Slide
weeks.
away.
I know, I feel really special. So these next questions are all from people who are listening or have been on the podcast
Fab.
or have been on the social media. So
Love it.
um, you don't have to answer anything, but if you do, great, whatever.
Oh
Nothing's too
God.
scary, so it's fine.
Hit me with them. Hit me with
Um,
them.
one of the biggest things that I got from a few people was they would like to hear some surprising stories, like positive interactions that have turned out totally different to what you'd expect.
Oh God. Positive interaction. What in relation to drag or people I've met or
Whatever you like.
positive interactions? The thing that just fills me with positivity all the time is just meeting new people. And I know that's really
Right.
generic and boring, but whenever I go to a gig, meeting new people is just an absolute, it's a godsend. Because me as generic Sam out of drag, I wouldn't say boo to a goose. I need this drag to be able to get on that stage and sing. Even on karaoke as me, I wouldn't get up there. The power that drag gives me is unreal. And anyone that knows me in and out of drag would be like, yeah, you wouldn't get, we didn't get me anywhere near a microphone. So when you're on holiday and like it's karaoke and stuff, and everyone's like, go on, you can sing, and I'm like, I'm all right, thanks. No,
Not
I'm in the
today.
spotlight too much, love. I don't need it. No, no, joking. But yeah, I love it. New people, seeing their faces, and a lot of people, even though we're talking about drag is very everywhere now, there are people that have never seen a drag queen before. And I love the fact that I could be their first drag queen that they've seen. Love
Yeah.
that. but also I have regulars to gigs as well. And when I see that they're
Right.
coming back again to see me, little old me, I go, wow, that means the world to me because I know I've done
Yeah.
something right, even if you don't necessarily like the act, but you just like me, or vice versa. There you go. I've done my job. This is exactly what I'm about. So yeah. So interactions with people are positive, and do you know what? Love turning a head from them thinking, "Oh my god, what is that?" Literally, I know that's what they're thinking.
Yeah.
Especially a drag queen with a beard.
Oh, they're the
And
best.
well, some people just think it's a really heavy contour, but it is a beard. But if I
It
shaved it off,
works.
I look about 12, and I can't be doing with that. So I like to keep the beard in drag and out. But from the back, even when people take pictures of me and I can see myself because I'm obviously heavily cinched and the padding and everything, I do look very uber feminine. So I think a lot of straight men look at me and go, look at that. Because I'm everything what in their head they think a woman would look like. And then I turn around and
Yes.
I've got a beard. Oh, it's a drag
Like something
queen.
from a Disney movie, isn't it?
So I'm best of both worlds, love. I am best of both worlds. But yeah, it just takes them a couple of pints and then they start fancying me from the front and the back. So it's fine either way. So that is a positive reaction. I can
I
change
like that.
people's mindset.
Yes, I like
That's
that a
what it's
lot.
about.
How long does it take to get ready, start to finish?
Well, I've done it in an hour today because I had to rush.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
so, we've got a pub, another pub now. So we do Sunday lunches. So I did Sunday lunch all the way up until like 5 o'clock, and then I went right. I need to leave now. Mop, 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 clear up, straight upstairs, and I was ready for 6 o'clock. But I like to give myself an hour and a half. When I first started drag, it was like 3 hours. It was just a lot of time. But you get, I'm so boring. I do a same makeup look because I just think I haven't got time to be thinking about colours and anything different. I know my aesthetic, I know what I do. A bodysuit, legs out, pert bum. In drag, not out of drag, it's quite saggy. And same face, like I'm a blonde queen, all my wigs, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wigs here. They're all the same blonde because I know it suits me. So the least I have to think about looking extremely fabulous, the better for me because I can just concentrate on my performance. So
Yeah.
it's face on, let's go, we're done, we're there, let's get everyone up, it's party time. And luckily, everyone likes the way I look and everyone likes the way I sing. So we're all right.
Perfect. What kind of
We know what
what kind of things do you
works.
sing?
Sorry, lovely.
Sorry, what kind of things do you sing?
Oh
What's your
God,
go-to?
everything. So I'm known as the UK's techno house queen.
Oh,
So
okay.
I
Okay.
sing a lot of clubland, techno, house, a lot of that. But I keep that. If I do sort of my bread and butter gigs are in pubs, working men's clubs, bars, clubs, that kind of thing. So I'll start off with, and I play to a crowd, so it could change even before I've even got there. So if there's quite a lot of, I don't know, if people I say, when are we born? Are we 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and noughties? Where are we? And I'll just pick bits out. So it could be anything from Tom Jones all the way up to Michael Bublé to boy bands. I do quite a lot of remixes on boy bands. So like Aha and Erasure, all those kind of things. Then leading
Nice.
up to my last set being everyone is on their feet, jumping around. I love a good bouncy tune. Even down to, I don't God, I make my encore song like Children of the Night, things like that. Gala, Freed
Yes.
from Desire. So yeah, so I go
Oh,
from everything from ballads all the way up to yeah. So you have to play to your crowd, and that's just
love
what
it.
people need. So yeah, we want to see them dancing, having fun.
Have you had a favorite stage that you've performed on?
It has to be. I do love being able to get down into a crowd. So even if I have a stage in a club, in a bar, whatever, I start on that stage and I'm off that stage as fast as I possibly can because I like to be around people. I like to sing to people. I like to feel a crowd around me. But if it had to be an actual stage, it's Gran Canaria that I do in November.
Right.
Like I say, it's the biggest European Pride. It's 40,000 people. It's the most unreal, surreal thing you would ever do. And you can only see the first 200 people anyway, because that's all the lights you can see. But when you see the videos back, there's a couple on my TikTok and things like that. When you see them, someone pans to the amount of people that are there, and little old me's just stood on stage, and I think, wow, this is just next level. Pinch me moments like that are the reason I do what I do. But I also love these little gigs that I do on a week to week basis, because that's me, quintessentially me, and I'm a northern bird. What more do you
Yeah,
want?
yeah. I'm just going through a few more. I'm just seeing if there's. Do you have anywhere that you felt was your safe space growing up as a gay person?
Hmm. Being at home it's just because I've never had anyone in my family or in my friends group that's ever had a problem with it. Um, I am a bit of a home bird, to be fair. I like being at home. I love home comforts, whether we're on holiday or I do Benidorm Pride and things like that. So I love to get home and just be in my comfies, and that's my safe space. Um, but just being around family and friends and just good people,
Yeah.
that's a safe space for me. Well, if I'm in drag, I'm the one that sorts any situations out anyway. So out of drag, they can sort out any situations that may arise in a pub.
Do you wish you'd started sooner? That
100%.
came up like so many people ask me
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, because I could be in a very different place in my career right now. I've been blessed, absolutely blessed in my drag career to do the things that I've done in a very short space of time. I surrounded myself with people who wanted me to do well, people in the industry, people who are very successful, have massively influenced me and got me to a place where I can do a 40,000 stage, or I can do a working men's club in Back and Beyond and still give them the same performance, because
Yeah.
there's I'm no better than anyone. Literally, I'm no better than anyone. I'm me, and that's what you're going to get, whether it is to that many people or that many people. So I've got a very good friend and absolute person that I adore called Soraya Vivian, and she has taken me under her wing and introduced me to very influential people that I wouldn't have ever met if I didn't know her. And she has just stuck a neck on the line for me, and so many times putting me forward for things and just believing in me. And having
Right.
someone that believes in you that much, can see your talent and knows where you need to be, God, is just, it gives me a lump in my throat that someone can believe in you that much. So
Yeah.
yeah, I owe her my career, and she will be forever my queen. So I think we all have someone in our drag career that is our huge influence, and whether they're bollocking you because they've seen a video and going, "What were you doing with that leg? Why were you doing that with your hand? Why didn't you do this?" That's the kind of people who want to see you do well. And that's what I do
Yes.
for my drag daughter, and go, "What the bloody hell were you doing there? Why have you done that? Why have you done that?" But it's all for the greater good, because they want you to be the best person you can possibly be. And
Yes.
what's better than that?
Yeah. I completely agree. I like that
Mm.
answer. Final question, and then I'm going to let you go. What advice do you have for somebody who's thinking about starting a drag career, whether it be somebody who's young, just early teenagers thinking that it might be something they're interested in, or
Yeah,
somebody who's almost 40 plus, whatever?
yeah.
What's your advice?
Throw yourself into it. Absolutely. Oh, 110% throw yourself into it. What I would say personally, if you want to do it for fun, amazing. Great. Go for it. Do what you want to do. But if you want to be a drag queen as your actual job, you have to not only be yourself at all points, but you have to think commercially. Because there's things that I love a bit of musical theatre, but if I got on stage in front of a working men's club and sang some musical theatre songs, I'm not going to get the kind of reaction that I get when I'm singing, whether it's Mr. Brightside to Meatloaf, I'd Do Anything for Love, to a bloody Tom Jones song. So you have to think commercially if you're going to make it a business, but never change who you are and what you like doing. So I'll always weave in a few little musical theatre songs, or like I love my clubland, like we know, because that's what I'm known for. There's some things that I know that people won't know out there, but I'll weave it in just to keep me and my personality. But you have to think commercially that if you're going to make it an actual business and your main income, you need to be, yeah, slightly more mainstream than what you actually really want to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, because people are buying you and they want you to entertain their crowds. And if people don't like what you're doing, they're not going to ask you back.
Yeah.
And then you
It's
need
true.
that.
That's true.
But also, there are plenty of queens, kings, anyone who wants to dress in drag, whatever your ethnicity, sexuality, gender, you do you. And some people love that.
Yes.
They don't want to be paid for it. They don't need to be paid for it. They're doing it as a creative outlet. Props to you. Do what you need to do. So yeah, I'd say be commercial and think about that if you want to get it for the money, which I do. But yeah, you still need to weave some of your personality in there because people are buying you at the end of the day. But you need to put the money behind the bar.
Yes. Yes. Thank you so much for coming on. I've had such a nice time, and it's been so interesting, like hearing these things, because you're not like any of my other guests. We haven't spoke about these kind of things before, and I'm not saying that's a bad
Bless
thing, but
you.
every single episode we do is somebody new, and I'm really,
Yeah.
really so happy that you said yes to coming on, and I hope I see you again sometime. I really do. So thank you so
Lovely. It's
much.
been an absolute honor. Loved it. I've loved it. It's not very often that you get to sit down and talk to someone just about the job you do, because everyone
Yes.
just sees you and just that is your job. You're a drag queen,
Yeah.
done. Tick box. Yeah, I know a drag queen or I've seen a drag queen, but there's a lot of nitty gritty that goes into what we
Yeah.
do.
Oh, I'm
Um,
the same. I know that. So this is going to be so different, but I do accounting as a job. I work in accounts,
yeah,
bookkeeping, HR. Nobody wants to hear about that. And
no,
but there's so much that goes into it, and it's so
exactly.
it
But
is
there are
actually
people that
really
want to hear
interesting.
about that, though. I mean, I'm not a numbers. I'm not a numbers person whatsoever, but I know quite a lot about accounts because I've run my own business and that kind of thing. So when
Yeah.
people give you like a bit of a generic answer to something, I go, no, actually, that's not because in business that wouldn't work, love. So, so yeah, I like conversation. I like conversation. So,
Yes.
but if I didn't talk to people, I wouldn't be in this job, really, would
Do you know what? I don't like
it?
this is gonna sound terrible. I'm not a big people person, but
Yeah,
I love to chat to people one on one. So
yeah.
yeah, that's where I'm
Because
at.
it's quality.
Um,
It's quality.
yeah,
Quality time.
yeah. So
Mm.
anyone who is still listening, thank you very much. I'm glad you came around. Hopefully you'll be back for the next one. So for now, thank you.